Good morning, guys, and welcome back to PA Street Scene. For those of you that don't know, my name is Derek. Make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button and also that notification bell so you can keep up with my latest content. Today, it is Saturday, and we are in Manheim, Pennsylvania for the LCBC Motorsports show. Huge car show here, considering it's in the parking lot of a church. I'll spin you guys around and see if I can get you a little idea of just how big this show is. Yeah, and that's just a brief taste of how big the show is. The cars really wrap around the entire building, so it's a bit crazy. Brought the R32 out today, was really excited for the show. Still am excited for it. I haven't had a chance to walk around yet, but I did have a little bit of heartbreak on my way in. The pavement here is fairly new, and it appears that I did find one of the road tar patches. So I ended up getting tar sprayed over pretty much the entire passenger side of the car. Luckily with the bug delete I was able to get most of it off, but you can still see it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It may just be a permanent fixture at this point. But yeah, I'm going to walk around a bit, take a look at the different cars. Typically I would just do a montage, but you know, it's a bit overwhelming at this point. So I'll probably just do my top 10 favorite cars and maybe like my worst car. But let's get started. Alright guys, we're going to start off our top 10 at LCBC here. They're in no particular order. I'm basically just walking one end of the show field to the other till I get back to my R32 and picking my top 10 favorite cars. Luckily, number one was not difficult for me to pick at all, and I'm standing right beside it. Right now, I'm next to a 1968 Volkswagen Bug. I am obsessed with bugs, and lately I've been getting the itch to buy one, and this car is not helping that at all. I'm typically not a person who's into cars with lots of branding on the sides, especially when the branding is the theme. But with this car, for some reason, it just feels right. Let me make sure I'm focused in here. But the whole car is decked out in vintage Coca-Cola. It's on the side of the car, it's on the dashboard, and the steering wheel. The shift knob's a Coke bottle. The top of it has a Coca-Cola branded cooler. He's got the obligatory surfboard on the top. It's just a stunning example of what this car can be. I am wanting a convertible when I get mine, and I'd like to pop the fenders off in more of a Volkswagen style, but this is just completely stunning. So I'm glad that it was out today and that I was able to see it, because I just, oh my god, I'm frothing at the mouth to get a Bug. So I'm gonna walk away and find number two, but just a couple last looks at this car. Alright guys, number two on my top 10 list, like I said, in no particular order. This car caught my eye from the other side of the show field the second I pulled in. It is just amazing. It is a 1950 Mercury, and you're about to see why I'm in love with this car. I mean, it's long, it's slammed, it's got the flames on it, kind of the seaweed style from that generation that kind of come back over all the body panels. Just a beautiful car, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If I was ever to own a hot rod, I've always been attracted to the Mercuries. I love how long they are, I love how ridiculously large they are, and just look at that engine bay. That is insanity. I also like the sticker on the front that says, injection's nice, but I'd rather be blown. I'm all about small touches. But yeah, so number two, easy choice on the top 10 list, is this Mercury, and let's go find number three. Alright guys, number three on my top 10 list, once again in no particular order, is this Corvette that I'm standing in front of. It is a 1965 Chevy Corvette. Looks to be possibly a time attack car, and it's just crazy, and I'm in love with it. So I'm going to let you take a look at it. It's got the blue on it, a nice subtle racing livery, and then carbon fiber wide body fenders, which I find unusual and incredible in the same breath. I've never seen this generation of Corvette that looked like this before, but it's just a beast. And then of course it's got the bracing behind. I'm not even sure what this does. But yeah, I had to give you guys a look at this car. It's just nuts. I would definitely love to throw it around a track. And then with these huge side pipes, it's got to be ridiculously loud, which is always good in my books. So yeah, number 3 on my list, pop-up headlights and all, is this Corvette. I believe I said it was a 1965. Let me double check again on his. Yes, it's a 1965.
It's like nothing
so
like cars.
Definitely worthy of the top 10 list. But let's move on to number 4. And we've moved on to number 4 on my top 10 list. Next up we have a 1956 Chevy 3100. This truck is insane. Let me give you a look at it. It may be hard to get this color on film, but it is the most beautiful, deep, burnt orange metallic I've probably ever seen in my life. This truck is just incredible. Look at how big those tires are in the back. That's just insane. There's so much lip on those wheels that I could probably fit a pair of shoes side by side in there. It's just nuts. And then of course the big side exit exhaust, kind of NASCAR style. But this truck is just insanely clean, like museum quality. Wood bed slats, which are pretty common when people are doing older trucks like this. The roof is definitely chopped, and I love the way they did it. It's just the right height, gives it lots of character. And then this engine bay is just completely insane. I wish I could describe how clean this truck is to you guys. It's literally museum quality, and that's a lot of engine for a pickup truck. So yeah, easily a number 4 on my top 10 list. Alright guys, so this next car is not necessarily on my top 10, even though it's a beautiful car. I'm more so just showing it to you guys as an honorable mention. Also in honor of my oldest brother Cody. If I didn't film this car for him, he would be ridiculously upset with me, and I don't want to deal with that. So right now I'm going to show you, it is a 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback in a beautiful blue color. So I'll turn you around so you can take a look at it. Just a great example of Mustangs. I'm not typically a gold person, but for some reason the gold accenting on the side of this car just really works for me. As you can see, it has the 302 engine in it, also done in the Ford blue, which is so common in these cars. It was a stock Ford color with a lot of their engines, which is why when you go to AutoZone or Pep Boys or whatever and look in their spray paint, there's always like a Ford engine blue. But yeah, just a great car inside and out. Super clean. Everything looks to be time period correct. And I just wanted to film this one quick just so my little brother could see it. So thank you guys for indulging me on that. And Cody, you're welcome. Alright guys, number 5 on my top 10 list here at the LCBC show today is a 1932 Ford Coupe. And I don't even have words for how much I love this car. I'm just going to let you guys see it and form your own opinions, because I have always been attracted to the Ford Coupes, and this car is definitely an example of why I've always had that kind of secret desire to own one. So I'll turn you around and you can get an impression for how nice this car is. It's like a two-tone, almost like a Nardo gray with a super deep, almost candy blue on top with a nice bright orange pinstripe in the center. I always like when a two-tone paint job is set off. And then leather interior, all metal dashboard, that is incredible. And then the exposed engine bay, of course, is always a plus. Just an exceptional car. So much chrome. But yeah, so definitely my number 5 on my list. Also, those big tires on the back are always amazing to see. I would almost even go wider if it was mine, but I really like the size that they went with nonetheless. So I am curious to see if it's just a trunk or if it's actually a rumble seat. That would be very interesting to find out, but I don't see the owner anywhere around. So we're just going to move on to number 6 on my list, and I'll see you guys in a second. With that, we move on to number 6 on my top 10 list. It is getting a little loud around here. Some of the hot rods are leaving, so I do apologize for the noise. But yeah, number 6 is a car that I've seen around at a couple different shows I've been to. Never really got to spotlight it, but I've always been fascinated by it because it's such an unusual vehicle. I actually had it in my spring breakdown video, and there it actually won Best Paint. And that, of course, is this Hyundai Veloster. And it's just insanity. The paint on this car is incredible. It's kind of this fuchsia metallic color shift, which makes it pretty obvious as to why it won Best Paint at Spring Breakdown. And of course, it's on the carbon fiber wide body fenders with these deep dish wheels that just look incredible. Not a car that I see many people dig into often, but when it's done and done correctly, like this car is, it's just mind-boggling. Even the spoiler on the back of this, which looks to be hatch mounted with a carbon fiber hatch, of course. Let me see if you can see the grain on that. Yeah, just a car that you don't see very often that people put this much effort into, and I'm really glad that this one was here because I've seen it around and I've really wanted to take a close look at it, but it's usually just hounded by people. So yeah, let's move on to number 7 and see where that takes us. Number 7 on my list today at the LCBC show is a 1930 Ford Model A sedan that is just incredible. I really have a soft spot all the time for rat rod cars, and this one is kind of rat just enough, but it's also pretty clean and pretty well put together. I'm gonna let you guys take a look at it, but I'm just loving this car. So let's get you turned around. But yeah, like I said, this is a 1930 Ford Model A. And it's the sedan, so you see it has the longer back. Just the seats alone in this are pretty crazy to look at. All riveted together, and then you can see the outlining of the top of the seat. Let me focus in. I apologize for the shaky camera. They're either bike chains or motorcycle chains. It's just crazy to look at. I love rat rods for all that they are and all that they aren't. Super impractical, but hellaciously fun to see. And even though I've never had the experience personally, I'm convinced that they're probably a lot of fun to drive. The motor in this thing alone is just incredible. And all the different airbrushing and pinstriping on this car. Take you around. Fast Charlie's Speed Shop, Surfside Beach, South Carolina. Get you a better look at the dash. Like, everything is welded and riveted. Even the roof has the airbrushed rivets on it. Just a really fun car to look at. And we've made it to number 8 on my top 10 list. And my next choice is actually probably the cleanest Honda Civic I've ever seen in my life. It is a 1997 Honda Civic Coupe, done in a ridiculously bright metallic orange, and I'm in love with this car. Also another one that I first spotted in Lebanon at the Low Life Junk Styles Spring Breakdown show, and I just couldn't stop looking at it, and that's the issue I'm having today as well. I mean, the detail work and attention to just small things on this car. Even the plugs on this car are polished. You know, the plug holes where you would run wires and things through. It's just a very nice car. Wheels are just the right size, not too crazy big. And while this isn't my favorite generation of Honda Civic, this is probably the nicest one of this generation that I've actually ever seen in person. Some Skunk 2 Racing dress-up parts on it. Really makes me want to start digging into the engine bay on the R32. I want to start shaving that up a bit. And then you have the G-Force racing harnesses with a cage in the back, because kids, we don't run 3 or 4 point harnesses without a roll cage. Super dangerous. But even though the interior is kind of stock for the most part, it has just enough racing stuff to go with it that it feels special. I don't know if you can see through the window, so let me try to get through here, but the whole back is gutted out. And it looks to be coated in a Rhino liner or some kind of truck bed liner, whether it be Rhino liner, Herculiner, Raptor liner, who knows. but it definitely cleans it up and keeps it from getting rusty, so that was a really good choice on the owner's part. But yeah, just a beautiful Honda Civic. I know that Volkswagen guys and Honda Civic guys, well, Honda guys in general, have this weird like rivalry of some sort, and I never fell into that. I love all cars, so this is definitely one that I was happy to see. We're getting almost to the end of our list. We have about 2 more cars to pick, but that's okay because I'm running out of parking lot anyway, so it probably won't be difficult to fill that up. Let's go find number 9. Alright guys, number 9 on my list actually made me smile the second that I saw it. It is a 1986 Tomaso GT5S Pantera. Beautiful, beautiful car. I noticed it from the other side of the lot. I had to get over here. I was afraid he was leaving, so I kind of ran, which for anybody that knows me, I don't run for anything. But this car is definitely worth running for. Just check out the engine bay on this. It's literally half the car. And it's got the Ford Motorsports engine in it. Just a stunning piece of Americana. And really well maintained from the look of it. So glad to see. You don't see very many Panteras on the road anymore, and when you do, to see one in this quality is even more rare. So definitely a great find. Check out the spoiler on this thing. It's just insanity. Huge chevron spoiler on the back, of course with the GT5S markings on the side. Just a beautiful car. Definitely glad I was able to see it, and well worth being in my top 10 list. So we only have 1 spot left to go. We'll figure out what it's going to be, and you guys will know in about a second. So let's go take a look. Well, we've come to the end of our list, and just because I'm biased, number 10 on our list is my R32 Volkswagen Golf. No, I'm just kidding. Even I'm not that self-absorbed, but we are pretty close to the car, well actually I should say the truck, that's making the end of my top 10 list. I'm not sure who the current owner is. I know one of the guys from Exclusive Styles used to own this truck. I'm not sure if he's the current owner or not, but I'm going to walk over here and give you a look at it. Beautiful, beautiful truck. It is a 1953 Ford. Let me see. I usually don't like touching people's cars. Okay, 1953 Ford F100. And the story when the gentleman from Exclusive Styles bought it was that he actually bought it at nighttime and thought that the color was baby blue, got it home the next morning, got it out to the driveway, and realized it is in fact seafoam, almost closer to a mint julep with just a little bit of blue to it. But this is such a cool truck. Just such a cool truck. I'm at a loss for words. I love slammed old hot rod trucks like this, and I've always had a soft spot for flames, and even though they're a little rough, I kind of think it adds to the character of the truck. Just a really cool truck. I would love to have a laid out truck like this at some point, most likely from this generation. And I really like pastel colors and flats, so this is kind of right up my alley. You can see the big tank and the motors for the suspension. Alright guys, so that was my top 10 favorite cars at the show. I'm really glad that I actually didn't do a montage, just because the amount of cars here and the diversity is so overwhelming. It's a really awesome show, and they do it every year, so make sure you come out next year. That's a LCBC Church in Manheim, Pennsylvania. However, this time I'm going to do an honorable mention, and it's not just for one car, it's actually for a group of cars. For those of you guys that remember my video where we actually dipped my R32 and made it the Polaris yellow, it was done by a shop in Mountain Joy called Liquid Wrap Labs, done by John. He's amazing. If you guys are in the area and need a car dipped, talk to him. He does awesome work. And actually he was able to secure a booth space this year, so they gave him 6 spots and he brought 6 different cars. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the cars that he brought with. First up we have his Jeep that he actually just finished with this kind of geometric urban camo that he has going on with it. Now I think he's still in progress on this. I think he still has some stuff he wants to do with it, but I do love the like candy apple red details in it that match the color that he did on the wheels. And then Of course, next up we have the stunning blue EOS. And John also does hydro dipping. So all of the hydro dipping on this car, all of the like marble effect on this engine bay, and the Plasti dipping was all done by John. Amazing work, amazing work. I just can't speak highly enough of him. He also did the hydro dipping on the dashboard as well. I don't know if it's something I would ever do for the R32, just because I don't know if I could settle on a pattern, but it is really cool. And then of course we have the, I believe it's an Infiniti G35, oh, it's a G37S, my mistake. And this car has been rolling around for a while, but it still looks as amazing as the day that he did it. And this is the Autoflex, which is more of a gloss finish. As you can see, it has like that metallic kind of flake to it. And it still peels just like regular Plasti Dipper Pro line like my R32. This car is beautiful. It was actually one of the first cars that John ever did that I saw. And it just looks incredible. And then back here, when I dropped off my R32 actually for John to get to work on, he was just finishing up this Mustang. It's a 2015, and the color shift on this is just incredible. It goes from like a gold to an emerald green through a teal up into a blue. I mean, it's just stunning. And of course it's a 5.0, and it's funny because he actually tested out the Polaris that he used on my car on the brake calipers of this car before he did it, just to see how the color would turn out. But just like on my car, it's impossible to get that on camera. It is a ridiculously difficult color to film. And then behind me, car that I haven't seen in person yet, I actually talked to the owner when I had dropped off my R32, is this 2011 Hyundai Genesis Coupe, which was done by John and Liquid Wraps as well. It's more of a satin finish, but it has these little specks in it, and it's really hard to see them, especially in this lighting. I'm going to try it. You can almost see them. And basically what happens is, at full sunlight, they're giving off kind of like a holographic effect. So the whole car turns rainbow. And it just looks amazing and matches the spikes that he's doing on his lugs and also on his valve stem here. So I'm really bummed that it's not super sunny out. It got cloudy, well, kind of overcast, I guess. So hopefully by the time I walk back, you'll be able to see it. If so, I will definitely film it again so you guys can see what it looks like. I apologize for the shaky camera. I'm still getting used to this mini tripod. And then last, of course, we have a 2006 Audi A4 that was done in Autoflex, and a color shift from like almost like an olive green to a very pale purple. It's a very unusual color combo, but it just looks stunning. I like the subtlety of it because it's definitely special, but unlike my R32 or the Mustang that I just showed you, it's still subtle enough that you almost have to be on top of it to know what you're looking at. But yeah, I just wanted to take this time to give John a shout out because he is really an amazing stand-up guy. I haven't got to work with too many industry people yet since I've started my YouTube channel and kind of the experience of building this car, but John is definitely a standout amongst the people that I've got to work with, and I will continue to work with him into the future. My plan with the R32 is to change the color about every 6 months, so as long as budgeting's there, I'm really looking forward to a continued relationship with John and Liquid Wrap Labs. And I love the fact that he has a wacky inflatable arm flailing tube man, which just makes me love him that much more. Because what is a booth without a wacky inflatable arm flailing tube man? And as you can see, he's got a hood here. It's partially peeled up the hood. I apologize for the noise. Those tube men take up a lot of noise. And then he's got an example of the Autoflex here on a hood. I would stop and chat with him, but he's enjoying an icy and also trying to sell some products, so I'm not going to bother him. But we'll get him on camera just to embarrass him. Everybody say hi to John. He has no idea, but he will. But with that said, I'm going to make my way back to the R32, and we're going to just kind of chill out for a little while. I've already got to meet a lot of really cool people to talk about the car. I just wish it was at 100% so I could feel a little bit more proud of it. But in hindsight, I would rather have road tar on the Plasti dip than on the actual paint of the car any day. So I guess small blessings that just don't make me quite happy. But I'll see you guys in a bit. So that concludes my top 10 list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you also enjoyed a little something different. I was just completely overwhelmed by the amount of cars that were here. Last year they had about 3,000 cars show up, and this year's, I believe, the first year that they actually advertised online with Facebook and social media. So I can only imagine it was bigger, but just overwhelming. And honestly, I was getting bored with doing montages every time I went to a show. So I enjoyed doing this. It was a little different for me, and just a great day at the show. So make sure if you're in the area that you hit it next year, because it can only get bigger from here. A lot of people are leaving because it's looking to get cloudy. It may rain, but with my car I just don't care if it rains. But I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.